Blindsided Envy by Dusty Blackwelder. I recently had the opportunity to explicate a poem. In doing so, I was surprised to find how much the poem's idea may have been brought from the poet's own life. In Edwin Robinson's poem, Richard Cory, Edwin divinely uses words to emphasize the envy the townspeople shared for Richard Cory. The repetitive structure, and rhythmic tone together keep the reader's attention and focus on the main idea. Edwin Robinson gives his poem a shocking and surprise ending that implies the idea that you cannot judge a book by its cover. After reading a biography on the poet, Edwin Robinson, I was shocked to find how much impact his own life may have influenced this poem. For instance, the poet's parents wished to give birth to a daughter because they already had a son. So when he was born, he was left unnamed till about 6 months old, when a man from Arlington brought to their attention that he should be named. So he drew a name from a hat, Edwin Arlington Robinson. I believe this gives weight to the poem's title, Richard Cory. To have a name is to be known, and to therefore be someone, and to be important. And to not have a name, therefore, is to be common, unimportant, and perhaps unknown. None of the other characters in the poem were given a name. They were just simply referred to as the townspeople. I also discovered that the poet's older brother was also a wealthy, educated, and well-known man, as the main character Richard Cory in his poem. Perhaps Edwin also envied his brother, as did the townspeople of Richard Cory. The poet's use of word emphasizes the degree of envy the townspeople shared for Richard Cory. The poet states that he was a gentleman from soul to crown. This choice of words implies that the townspeople view him like a king. If he were to say from head to toe, that would be a general statement that could be applied to anyone. This leaves the reader with an image of a king. My favorite descriptive word choice is glittered. They state that he glittered when he walked. That's a powerful connotation of the level of admiration the townspeople had for him. They seemed unsatisfied with their own lives compared to Richard Cory. They state how they waited for the lights, went without the meat, and cursed the bread. This gives the reader a mental picture of a man gleaming with perfection in the watcher's eye. The flattery flows well with the structure of the poem. The poet uses rhyme and repetition to help the reader keep focused on emotions and ideas. The poem is song-like, which makes it fun to read, especially out loud. The poet repeats the admiration of the townspeople over and over in each line, especially with the use of the word "and," which implies to what extent he is admired. They state, "And he was rich and admirably schooled, and he was always human when he talked." This rhythm, this repetition and rhyme keeps the flow going all the way to the end, is where the main idea is brought to light. The final stanza is the climax, resolution, and conclusion of the poem. In the last line, it states, Richard Cory went home and put a bullet through his head. Ironically, the poet's own brother had also took his own life. This action is important to bringing out the main idea, that you cannot judge a book by its cover. Although Richard Cory seems so perfect, he took his own life. The exterior may seem so beautiful and pleasant, while the interior may be unattractive and unappealing. This is a brilliant display of irony and a surprise ending. The end to Richard Cory and Blindsided Envy.